1 year to the day, I did a video talking about SNK's investor relations meeting that they had. And they talked about a lot of things, namely how well the Neo Geo Mini had done. It went beyond expectations as far as sales went, and they were planning on making more consoles. So it turned out one of the consoles they were referring to was the Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro. But they also alluded to a third Neo Geo, the Neo Geo 3. So that's just, like a code name. What is the Neo Geo 3? The sales volume of the Neo Geo Mini is also higher than expected. So it's said that Neo Geo 2 and 3 are being planned. So we do now have some news concerning the Neo Geo 3. So I want to talk about that and then talk about some of my thoughts, some of my ideas, some other rumors that I've heard, what I would expect and hope out of this thing. But referring back to this article, they did have like a little interview with the CEO and the vice president of the company where they asked a little bit more about it. So how much is Neo Geo Mini's domestic sales, and does the Neo Geo 2 and 3 mentioned earlier mean the successor of Neo Geo Mini? So they responded, domestic sales has remained at tens of thousands. It was doing very well for them. I was hearing that it was doing very well for them. A lot of people were buying the Neo Geo Mini despite, the cons of the device. But they said that the Neo Geo 2 and 3 are not mini successors. But they also mentioned later on that the Neo Geo 2 would take the form of a closed Neo Geo Mini and an open platform. So that's the Arcade Stick Pro, because it has built-in games, and there's supposed to be plans to sell games to load on the system, because there's 5 gigabytes of empty space on the system to accommodate more games. And I've been hearing for the past year that they are going to sell games besides just them doing 2 unlock codes every month to unlock the hidden games that are on the system, that they're supposed to be offering more games as well for a price. I found that interesting, but what I find even more interesting now is the Neo Geo 3. What the hell is this thing going to be? So I got a little bit of information, and if you guys recall, those of you who have followed me for a long while, especially with all the SNK news, I have a couple people who are very reliable sources who've given me information in the past, and every time I've reported on the stuff they've told me, it's turned out to be true a month or two later, maybe a little longer. So these sources, I can't name them, obviously, but one of them in particular, has a very close relationship with SNK. And I did get some news that was passed on to some people concerning that, the Neo Geo 3. So the Neo Geo 3, and the details are still very scarce because right now it's in the planning phase. It's getting, everything together. They're designing it. It's in the design and planning phase. They already had an idea what they wanted to do, and there should be a lot more to announce, officially from SNK in the next few months. I've been hearing for the longest while that summertime this year, they will have some official announcements and start showing things off. But from what I have been told and what I understand, this system is going to be a very small system, a very small form factor system. It's going to be able to use 2 controllers. So, okay, cool. That's what I want. I want a Neo Geo product that has 2 controllers. Great. Small form factor was the one thing. Okay, it's going to be tiny, like a mini console, but it's not going to be what we've been asking for, a Neo Geo AES Mini. It's going to be something completely different. Now, this device is going to be fully internet accessible. So it's going to have built-in Wi-Fi. I'm not sure if it's going to have an Ethernet port, whatever, to be able to connect that way, but I know for sure it's going to have Wi-Fi. So the way it sounds, and it takes some of this stuff with a grain of salt, but like I said, the people I've talked to, they've given me good information in the past that I found very interesting, and always winds up, being something of some value there. But the way I'm seeing it, with it being an online accessible system, is that they're going to have an online shop where they sell games. So that could go multiple different ways, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a second, because I have my hopes, and there's rumors and other stuff going on out there concerning this. But the other thing I found interesting yet odd is that it's being said that this little system that is the Neo Geo 3, whatever they're going to call it when it comes out, it's not a successor to the previous 2 systems. It's not a mini classic console. It's its own platform. But it seems like they're going to be designing multiple variants. Not versions, but like variants, or maybe some kind of add-on accessories to it. Because what I was told is that this thing is going to be buildable to where you can make it look like a tank from Metal Slug. That was like the main example that I got, but the way it sounded was like, okay, is it going to be a kit that we buy? Is it going to be an add-on, some shells that we could buy for this? Is this going to be like a Raspberry Pi type system where you could buy different cases for it? I'm not exactly sure. I was told it's supposed to be like a model slash toy where it's a console. And like I said, the main example that I was told was a little tank from Metal Slug. That could be kind of neat, but then at the same time, it's like, is this a gimmick? I don't know. I know with the Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro, some of the things that we were getting with it, they were just, and there's still products that they have not released for the Arcade Stick Pro, or at least not in the US that I have seen, and I haven't really seen anywhere, but there's tons of accessories for the Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro. Like, they went all out, like selling things that I thought were okay, and then things that I thought were pointless, like the button stickers. So there's like slip cases, button stickers, and then the little ball top covers where they're supposed to be selling replacement ball tops as well that are designed in the shape of like a head, like a monster head or a character head from a video game, an SNK game. So those were strange accessories. And you know, SNK, they're getting the cheapest stuff that they can as far as accessories, selling it for a pretty high premium on some of this stuff. $35 for a slipcase, a silicone slipcase for the Neo Geo Arcade Stick. It's a little pricey. You know, like $10 for a ball cover. I cover my own balls, but it just kind of seems strange. So I'm wondering with this little mini console. Well, I mean, it's not a mini console. It's not a classic edition console from what I understand, but it's its own new platform. But I still think there's a chance that it's going to be essentially something that plays old games, but there's some other stuff that we heard as well in this old article. But yeah, if it's going to be a thing where you're building on it, it's like a toy, but it's a console. You could change the shells out. I don't know how I feel about that. What I need to know are the games. What does this play and how does it play them? That is the interesting thing that we don't have information yet. So my thoughts on that, I have a feeling that, yeah, they'll sell older games on it where you could download a Samurai Showdown or a Metal Slug or whatever, and pay a price for it. Who knows what they would charge for that yet. But there was also rumor of a new Metal Slug being made for one of these consoles. So I see them doing something interesting here where they develop new games, but then I would hope that they don't just keep it like to themselves, where it's only SNK making games for this thing. I would hope they would allow, like, you know, certain homebrew companies to put games out on their system. You know, there's a lot of stuff that has come out for like the Neo Geo, you know, homebrew or, you know, indie status. I think that's a little better term than homebrew, but like, you know, indie games, like Xenocrisis and stuff like that, where it would be awesome to be able to play that on an official SNK system that is new. So I would hope that they would embrace that and not just keep it closed to themselves, you know, allow other people to be on their shop. But then at the other end of it, them reselling games that were already on like the Neo Geo Mini and the Arcade Stick Pro, I'm a little skeptical if they do that. Like I have too many options as it is. They would have to do something extremely special, in my opinion, in order for it to be worth it if I'm rebuying their games that I already have access to in one form or another, be it original cartridges for the Neo Geo or playing on, you know, FPGA based hardware or playing off of collections on the Nintendo Switch, you know, whatever the case may be. They got to give some extra. Now, there was a game, a collection of Samurai Showdown games that we haven't heard word of in a long while. It was supposed to be released in the fall of last year, which was going to be a collection of all the old school Samurai Showdown games, but with an online component. You could play online multiplayer. You could fight against other people. If this system that they're going to be putting out, and they will be announcing more information in the coming months, if this system sold old games for the Neo Geo, but they incorporated some, coding to allow multiplayer, that is a proposition that I could get behind. But if it's simply just reselling games that we already have access to in multiple ways, I don't know how excited I can get for that. So that's pretty much it. The rumors, the stuff that I have been told, my thoughts. Really curious what you guys got to say. Let me know in the comments down below. As soon as we have more information, it's going to be trickling in, guys. It's going to be trickling in on this. As soon as we got more information, we will be discussing it, giving you guys my thoughts and opinions and ideas, whatever. So stay tuned. Really do appreciate you guys, and I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom. Bye.